The concept of Sunnah in the Muwatta of Malik ibn Anas, Chapter 5, Part 2, As-Sunnah indana. The term Sunnah, as we have already noted in Chapter 1, means to set an example, to establish a new rule or custom or an institution, etc. to be followed. It also conveys the meaning of an already existing custom. In Muwatta, the term has been used in both senses. It is very difficult indeed to determine with certainty where Malik has used the word Sunnah in the meaning of actual unanimous custom and where in the sense of normative practice. Nevertheless, from the contents of the Muwatta, some guiding principles can be deduced which may enable us to judge in what sense the term is used. For example, it would appear that whenever the following principles are present with regard to a particular issue, Malik would employ the term as-Sunnah in the sense of the actual practice of the people of Medina. 1. Malik has not quoted hadith or a statement or verdict or decision, etc. of any of the past authorities against the issue. 2. The expression used by Malik to describe the issue reflects the general practice of the people of Medina. 3. The scholars of Medina agree with the issue. 4. Malik, with his circle, indana, is in agreement with the above. On a certain issue, Malik says, الأمر المجتمع عليه عندنا والسنة التي لا اختلاف فيها والذي أدركت عليه أهل العلم ببلادنا. Sorry, no Arabic given. The agreed opinion among us and the sunnah which is without disagreement and with which I found the scholars of our city following. Commenting on the issue, Malik says, that is the practice about which there is no disagreement, not a single scholar in our city has doubt about it, and the general practice of the people of Medina is accordingly. On another issue, Malik says, that is the custom generally followed by the people. Its recognition is in the hearts of the masses, and the practice of the predecessors has been accordingly. On these three issues, Malik has not quoted any hadith, statement, verdict, decision, etc., apart from any previous authority which contradicts his doctrines, and whatever he has recorded from the past is in harmony with the issues stated by him. On the first issue, for instance, Malik has recorded hadith and decisions from the Prophet, from Ali, from Umar ibn Khattab, Uthman ibn Affan, and from Sa'id ibn Musayyib, which unanimously concur with the doctrine under discussion. Then, at the end of the passage, Malik describes the agreed opinion of his circle, al-amr al-mujtama' alayhi indana, and the general practice of the people, was-sunnah allati la ikhtilafa fiha, and then the agreement of the other scholars of Medina, walladhi adraktu alayhi ahl al-ilm bi biladina. In the second example, Malik records nothing from the past, which means that he did not find anything from his predecessors in support of the issue or against it. So he discusses the issue by quoting other arguments, i.e., the agreed opinion of Malik, the unanimous opinion of the scholars of Medina, and the general practice of the people of Medina. On the third issue, Malik quotes a hadith from the Prophet which accords with the point of the discussion. Then, endorsing the issue, he describes the problem in his own way and gives his opinion on it. At the end of the passage, he adds that this is the custom which is generally followed, and that this is the practice generally recognized by the scholars and by the people of Medina, and that this has been practiced by the predecessors. These illustrations and many others in Muwatta lead us to locate locations in the Muwatta where the term Sunnah is used in the meaning of actual practice. From these examples, we can conclude first that either the past is in accordance with the present, or the past is not present at all, but there is no contradiction so far as the report of the past and the practice of the present in Medina is concerned. Secondly, the expressions give the impression that on such issues there was a general practice of the people of Medina. Thirdly, all the scholars of Medina agree on such issues. Fourthly, the opinion of Malik combined with the opinions of his circle concurs with the issue. These four elements constitute the Sunnah in the meaning of the actual practice of the people of Medina. We must stress the point that in case there is a failure of any of these constituents in any of the issues, the question of unanimity on that issue becomes doubtful. When, for instance, Malik quotes some past authority at the beginning of an issue and then at its end states an opinion contradicting the past authority, such an opinion may not be held unanimously despite the bold phrases such as La ikhtilaf indana, there is no disagreement among us, or al-amr al-mujtama' alayhi indana, the matter is unanimously agreed amongst or held amongst us, etc. For in such cases, some of the scholars of Medina may hold views in accord with the past authority quoted by Malik, or a section of people in Medina may act according to it. Similarly, if all the scholars are not in harmony on such an issue of the people of Medina and have different practices, the question of unanimity will be doubtful. Last of all, the agreed opinion of Malik and his circle plays the most essential part in essentially establishing the practice of Medina. The agreed opinion of Malik and his circle is the chief constituent of the practices of Medina, and no practice of Medina will be recognized as valid or authentic despite the agreement of the first three constituents, unless it is approved by the agreed opinion of Malik. Therefore, where all the four constituents are in harmony with one another, then the Sunnah is in the sense of the actual practice may be established. It will be interesting to note that this sort of unanimity will be followed in certain parts of the Muwatta and missing in other parts. The most extensive occurrence of this phenomenon is in the chapters devoted to the problem dealing with al-mu'amalat, social dealings. In the chapters, the past is missing to an alarming extent, whereas the present is all pervasive. For an illustration, we can take up the chapter of inheritance, fara'id. According to a standard edition of the Muwatta, edited by Mohammed Fuad Abdul Baki in Egypt in 1951, Malik has devoted 20 pages to this chapter. Here, contrary to his wont, it does not open the chapter by any hadith from the Prophet or a statement or decision of the companions or subsequent authorities. Rather, this chapter is opened by his own statement, al-amr al-mujtami' alayhi indana walladhi adraktu alayhi ahl al-ilm biladina. Up to page 8th inclusive, he goes on stating the issues one after the other without referring to any of the past authorities. The issues are substantiated by his statements, الأمر المجتمع عليه عندنا الذي لا اختلاف فيه والذي أدركت عليه أهل العلم ببلادنا, etc. The next 12 pages, the companions and the successors are referred to more than twice, and the Prophet only twice, and the rest of the issues are supported again by the expressions above. We have taken the chapter on inheritance as an illustration, but many other chapters are very similar to it, particularly the chapter on selling, al-buyu'. It may be concluded from the foregoing that the Sunnah in the meaning of the actual practice is based on the present, and the present is an independent argument in its relation to the past. In fact, it is also independent that the past is dependent on the present. Now we shall see whether the Sunnah al-amal is an absolute authority in the Muwatta, or whether it is subject to some other normative standard for judging its validity and absoluteness. Stay tuned for many more parts.